Hello, welcome to this new tutorial video on the 2D sections tools in TakeOff online tool. Today we're gonna focus on the flap. Again, a short video. We'll see the basis of defining a flap in TakeOff tool. So to go to the flap, we're just gonna click on this little tab here. And here we have the flap information. So we will be able to modify the flap of our selected section. So in this case, imagine I want to modify this one, the yellow one, and even I'm going to hide the blue one so I really can concentrate on the yellow section. So there's two types of flap. One we call the simple and one we call the soft hinge. The simple is like a regular hinge flap that rotates along a hinge point. So only three parameters, very simple. We have the positions chord-wise of the hinge, which goes from 0 to 1, that we can drag also and modify by hand, and the position in Y. So if we want the hinge to be at the middle of the profile, we just click 0.5. If we click 0, it will be on the bottom part of the section, and if we click 1, it will be on the top part of the section. So now here normally we used to have 0.5 and I don't know, maybe 60% of the chord, and we can modify the flap and see how the geometry goes. Of course, as it's a regular hinge, here we have on the bottom part the geometry gets in, so we have a kink, and on the top part we have really high cambered sections. But here we can see how the geometry changes with different angles of flap. -10. And then with these angles we will be able to run some calculations later. The other type of flap that we have is what we call the soft hinge, which is a soft transition between the fixed part and the flap. So here if we put a bit more curvatures, you will see now it starts to be a bit smoother. So we have a bit more parameters, the same parameters as before, the hinge X position and Y position, which are the same, the angle of the flap, but now we have these 6 extra parameters that are the same for the top and for the bottom. This up ini means how far from the hinge I'm gonna start to smooth the transition to the flap. So here it's 0.1, so 10% of the chord. The shorter we put that, the closer the starting of the transition will be of the hinge line. And then this is exactly the same, but instead of saying where is this point, we just say the length of this smooth transition. So let's put it 10% of the chord, and you see now it's way smaller. On the bottom parts, the parameters are exactly the same. You can drag them here, or you can modify the values just here below. And then this parameter is the tension. So the higher the parameter, the more hard will be the tangency that gets out from here and arrives from here, up to the point that you can reach some ridiculous things, that the tangent is so hard that you can even flip the geometry, which makes no sense. Normally, depending on the geometry, between 0.2 and 0.4, as you can see the curvatures, you can start tweaking and go slowly until the curvature is more or less smooth. There you go. So now we have a smooth transition between the flap and the fixed part of the wing. And this will be the input geometry that will be calculated then in the calculations that we'll see on next chapter. So that's all for today. Pretty short video. Hope you found it useful. Please let us all your comments here down. We'll be super happy to answer. If you have any proposal, any things that could improve, or any development that you think that could help you to move forward, don't hesitate to tell us. We'll answer to all your requests. And so thank you very much for listening, and see you on next video. Bye bye.